Hi, my name is Jenny Martin, and I'm part of the 14th cohort at the Data School at the Information Lab, and I'm also a doctor prepper for Prep and Data, which is where we're going to be getting our data from today. So today we're going to be talking about documentation of a workflow, which doesn't sound like the sexiest subject, but when you've got a big workflow, it can be really important to kind of give some indications as to what's going on in each section, and to give kind of a high-level overview of what each step is doing, so that anyone that you're handing this workflow over to can understand it a lot quicker than if you don't document at all. So, it's a selfless action, basically, to document your workflows. So let's hop over to quickly have a look at the challenge that I have got this workflow from. So back in week 3 of 2020, Jonathan Allenby came up with a challenge for Prep and Data, which resulted in a workflow which is quite large. So let me just show you that now. There we go, there's the workflow. It's quite a monster, really, isn't it? So we can see that we've kind of zoomed out here. If I just zoom in, coincidentally, to this little zoom section down here, then there's a couple of things you can do. We can fit the workflow to the window, which is what we've done. If we want to return it to 100%, we can always just click on the percentage no matter what. We can use the percentage, zoom in and zoom out. Sorry, the plus and the minus, zoom in and zoom out, or we can go back to fitting it to the window to sort of see everything at an overall level. So I just wanted to draw your attention to that briefly because it's very useful. Also, when we've got it quite a lot more zoomed in, then you can see that we can see where we are in the workflow as well and drag it around like this too. So Tableau Prep kind of by default does its colouring sort of until you use a join or a different kind of step, then it will sort of have the same colour up until that point, and then it will change the colour. But sometimes you want to group certain steps together, even if there's a join, so that it's clearer to the person picking up your workflow which chunks go together. So sorry for the crude terminology there, but basically you can see that this workflow is split into basically whatever's going on at the top here, and then this middle section, and this one at the bottom as well. So we'd ideally like, and then the end section too, these to all be different colours. So if we just highlight all of these steps at once, we can right click on any of those steps and we can hit edit colour and change the colour for all the steps at once. So we're going to change them all to be blue for this top one. And that's nice. Whilst we've got all of those highlighted as well, we could just move them down one, for example. We can shuffle them around. Actually, it looked better being a bit more spaced apart, a bit clearer. So that's something that we can do too, sort of use the white space to move things around a little bit. So we'll just change this chunk here to be a yellow colour, for example, nice and different to the blue, nice and distinct. Maybe that means that at the end we have these joining sections. Maybe we'll just move them a bit closer together. I'll move these along, sorry, to here. Make these all be a green colour. And so on and so forth. I will also just colour these just so that you can see the overall effect at the end. I'll make these ones purple, my favourite colour, and then we will change these ones down here to be a nice kind of browny colour. Lovely. So these are now already, you kind of group them together more naturally with your eyes, what the different sections are. So that's kind of an overall view level. If we kind of just zoom into individual steps, then you can see that there's a lot of naming under each of the steps. So to rename a step, for example here, let's see what's going on. It looks like we are doing some calculations, so winner and loser. So let's just rename this clean step winner / loser, and you can see that that automatically updates. It gives the person picking up the workflow a lot more better idea where they might need to find certain calculations that you've created. And then if you want to give even more detail than that, when you've got double clicked on the title of that step, you can also add a description. So we can write something like calculates if you can spell, winner and loser. And then you can have that there. You can turn that annotation off or on, but it just gives even more detail to the user. Finally, one last thing to mention is that we can add descriptions to the calculated fields themselves just by right-clicking on a calculation in the Changes tab and writing that description. So, I mean, this isn't a good example, but I could just say calculates loser. But if there was a note that you wanted to put in there that was to do with the data set and maybe you've had to make a special consideration based on the way the data is structured, that'd be a great place to let the person who's picking up your workflow from you know those details. Another way to add comments is in the calculated field itself using // so / loser calculation, or loser calc is just what I'm going to write for now. And you can see how that goes at the front there. It's not quite as clear as this comment here, so that jumps out at you a little bit more, but all useful ways to document your workflow when handing over to someone else. So thank you very much for watching this video. Please do subscribe to our channel, check out our previous video on the changes pane in Tableau Prep, and stick around for our next video, which is all about outputting your data to your local file directory. Thanks for watching.